Mackenzie Boyd is set for a dramatic confrontation with Dr. Todd in upcoming Emmerdale episodes, and the fallout could be devastating. Mack is left furious after Charity finally admits that she had a one-night stand with Ross and reveals that they are actually baby Leyla's biological parents. The shocking confession leaves Mack struggling to come to terms with everything. Although he has made similar mistakes in the past, the real issue for him is not just Charity's betrayal, but also discovering the truth about Leyla's parentage. Even so, there is still hope that Mack and Charity can repair their relationship. Charity also confides in Mack about Dr. Todd's blackmail and the sexual assault she endured. Horrified by what he hears, Mack insists that Charity should report Todd to the police. Taking his advice, Charity contacts the authorities once again the following week. However, she is informed that the blackmail allegations may not significantly strengthen the investigation. Determined not to let it ruin Leyla's christening, Charity puts on a brave face, although Mack remains worried about her. Later, during the celebration after the christening, Mack begins to spiral and deliberately starts an argument with Kev. Although Kev refuses to fight back, he pressures Mack into admitting that Charity had an affair with Ross. Mack feels especially hurt by Ross's actions. The two had become close friends, making it even harder for Mack to accept that Ross had known the truth about Leyla all along. While he can somewhat understand Charity's reasons because of his love for her, Ross's deception is far more difficult for him to forgive. Following this revelation, Kev suggests that Mack should seek revenge in a more calculated manner. As a result, Mack turns his attention toward Dr. Todd. Mack tracks Todd down at a hospital in Sheffield and confronts her directly. Todd denies all accusations, insisting that her encounter with Charity was entirely consensual. Mack refuses to believe her claims and promises that he will do everything possible to see her brought to justice for attacking his wife. Hospital security eventually intervenes and escorts Mack from the premises, but not before he issues a chilling warning, threatening Todd with deadly consequences if she ever goes near Charity again. Mack's anger is intense, driven by his deep love and protectiveness toward Charity. He believes Todd exploited both Charity and the situation for her own benefit, making it difficult for him to control his rage. Meanwhile, Charity begins to lose hope that she will ever receive justice. However, after receiving support and advice from Serena, she realizes that she cannot give up and must continue fighting. Further complications arise when police officers visit Mack the following day, raising concerns that his confrontation with Dr. Todd may have created even more problems for both him and Charity. Despite everything they have faced, Mack and Charity's relationship has survived many difficult times in the past. With all that Charity has endured, and Mack's own experiences, there is still hope that they can overcome this latest challenge, rather than allowing it to destroy their relationship for good. Robert Sugden has only recently returned to Emmerdale, but a lot has changed during his absence. While Robert has been away, his cousin Serena Sugden has arrived in the village, and his former husband, Kev Townsend, has also made an unexpected return. In upcoming episodes, Robert comes back from Portugal, where he has been visiting his sister alongside Aaron Dingle, and is stunned to discover that Kev is back in the village. Unsurprisingly, their divorce quickly becomes the main topic of discussion. In a newly released spoiler clip, Robert learns about Kev's return and wastes no time bringing up the status of their separation. For Robron fans, the speedy progress of the divorce means attention can soon shift towards organising Robert and Aaron's future wedding. Fortunately for Robert, Kev appears willing to cooperate and move the process forward without any complications. The preview also shows Robert being delighted to see Serena in the village. Considering the years Robert spent in prison, it has been a very long time since the cousins last spent any meaningful time together, making their reunion particularly significant. Serena first arrived in the village last week while passing through the area. After stopping to use the bathroom, she wandered into some nearby bushes, unaware that Charity Dingle was close by and struggling emotionally because of her secrets surrounding baby Leyla and Dr. Todd. The sounds Serena made startled Charity, and when the two crossed paths, Serena immediately sensed that Charity was in distress and needed support. Although Charity was initially hesitant, she eventually opened up and shared everything she had been going through. Serena listened carefully and offered a compassionate ear. After they said goodbye, Serena entered her car and set her sat-nav for Emmerdale. Upon arriving at the farm, she discovered from Sarah Sugden that Robert was not currently at home. Despite this, Serena was pleased by the chance to reconnect with Sarah, whom she had not seen in more than a decade. Elsewhere, Kev made another appearance this week while working from his bakery van. During his shift, Liam Kavanagh informed him that Lewis Barton had been abducted. As Lewis's biological father, Kev immediately abandoned his work to help. It soon emerged that he was supposed to return a necklace belonging to a woman named Kylie, although he initially delayed giving it back, despite claiming he had changed. Eventually, Kev decided that supporting Lewis was more important and returned the necklace to its owner. Shortly after Lewis arrived home, he unexpectedly came face to face with Kev. In an attempt to reveal the truth about their connection, Kev surprised everyone by standing up and singing Father and Son by Boyzone. The emotional moment proved overwhelming for Lewis, who told Kev that he was not interested in building a relationship with him. Later on, Kev spoke with Ross and Nicola King in the Woolpack, explaining that he did not want to reveal such important news and then disappear. Instead, he announced that he intended to remain in the village. The question now is whether Lewis will eventually allow Kev to become part of his life. Kane Dingle is left stunned in upcoming Emmerdale scenes when a shocking revelation about Kyle finally comes to light, leading to an emotional confrontation. Following his father's cancer diagnosis, Kyle Winchester struggled to cope with his overwhelming feelings. Believing he had found an outlet for his pain, the troubled youngster began setting fires around Emmerdale Farm. For weeks, residents were plagued by a mysterious arsonist whose identity remained hidden. Initially, suspicion fell on Moira, while Robert Sugden later feared that he might be the intended target. At one point, Cami Hadik even found himself wrongly blamed after being seen carrying a petrol can. However, the real culprit was Kyle all along. Feeling rejected by Kane and terrified of losing him, Kyle turned to destructive behavior as a way of dealing with his emotions. Among the fires he started was the destruction of a car that he and Kane had been restoring together. After feeling repeatedly pushed away by his father, Kyle set the vehicle ablaze in an act of frustration and heartbreak. Graham Foster unexpectedly discovered Kyle's secret when he happened to witness him in the act. Rather than immediately exposing him, Graham attempted to guide the teenager in the right direction. He encouraged Kyle to open up to Kane about his feelings, and even arranged for him to join the cadets in the hope of giving him some structure and support. Wanting to show his faith in Kyle, Graham gifted him a watch as a symbol of trust and encouragement, recognizing just how lost and vulnerable the youngster had become. Sadly, Kyle's emotional turmoil led him to smash the watch in anger by throwing it against a wall. Although Graham believed he had helped resolve the situation, everything changed when Kane learned that his cancer had not gone away. Soon afterwards, the mysterious fires began once again. Despite all of this, Kane remains unaware that his own son is responsible. That is set to change when Lydia accidentally reveals that Kyle is in possession of Graham's watch, leaving Kane confused about how the two are connected. Realizing the truth can no longer remain hidden, Graham eventually decides that he must confess Kyle's actions to Kane. The revelation leaves Kane deeply shocked, but rather than focusing on the arson itself, he is more upset that Kyle chose to confide in someone else instead of him. Some may see Kane's reaction as self-centered, as it only reinforces Kyle's feelings of loneliness and isolation. Hurt and frustrated, Kane confronts his son directly. But the question remains whether Kyle will finally admit the truth. Emmerdale is broadcast on ITV1 every weekday at 8 p.m, with episodes also available to stream on ITVX.